What if I told you that one of the best tools for sparkling muscle and protect your joints isn't found in the gym? It's actually found in this loop of elastic. Most people see this as one or two things: physical therapy or cheap, flimsy home workout. They see this as a compromise, a backup plan for when you can get to the real weight. They just don't see a serious tool for building top-tier physique. But what those people don't know is that the unique properties of this band can hit your muscles and protect your joint in a way a dumbbell physically can't. The science backs this up, and many pros you see have been using this little secret for years. In this video, I'm going to show you the science-backed hidden benefit of resistant band training that will completely change how you see this humble piece of gear. We are going to bust the myths and show you why this isn't just an alternative to weight. In some key ways, it's actually better. I am Ivan Trezor. Welcome to my channel. Alright, let's get the biggest myth out of the way right now. The number one thought people have about band is that they can't build serious muscles. The logic is, how can a rubber band build the same muscle as a 100-pound dumbbell? It's a fair question, but it comes from a misunderstanding of what actually makes muscle grow. Your muscle don't know if you are lifting a dumbbell, a kettlebell, or boulder. They only know one thing: tension. And how bands create tension is their first superpower. The key idea is called linear variable resistance. It sounds fancy, but it's very simple. Think about stretching a rubber band. The further you go, the harder it is to pull, right? That's it. The tension builds throughout the entire range of motion. Now compare that to a dumbbell bicep curl. When you lift the weight, it feels heavy somewhere in the middle. But as you curl to the very top, the point of peak contraction, the tension actually drops off. Your bicep almost get a little break because your skeleton is helping support the load. With the band, it is a complete opposite. The tension is at its absolute maximum at the peak of the squeeze. There is no rest. This gets rid of little rest stops that happens with the free weight, leading to a huge increase in what's known as time under tension. This constant work forces your muscle to stay fired up through every single part of the lift, on the way up and on the way down. The non-stop work creates more metabolic stress and mechanical tension, which are the main ingredients for muscle growth. And you don't have to believe me. The science is clear. Multiple major studies have confirmed that resistant band training can lead to similar and in some cases even better strength and muscle gains compared to traditional weights and machines. A 2019 analysis in the Medical Sports Journal called bands an effective method of activating muscles. So the question isn't if bands can build muscle anymore. The science has answered with the loud yes. The question is, how do we use their unique strengths? So we've established that band can definitely pack on muscle, but this next benefit is where they really shine, and it's something that gets more and more important the longer you've been training. Let's talk about keeping your joints healthy. Ask anyone who's been lifting for years. That nagging shoulder pain during bench presses, the elbow tendonitis from skull crushers, or those aching knees after a heavy squat day. These almost feel like a rite of passage, but they don't have to be. These problems often pop up because free weights put a constant, unforgiving load on your joints, especially when they are in a vulnerable position, like at the bottom of a deep squat press. Resistant band are different. Because of that linear variable resistance we've talked about, is accommodating. At the bottom of a squat or chest press, where your joints are at the tough angle and the risk of injury is highest, the band has the least tension. As you push up into a stronger, more stable position, the tension ramps up to match your strength curve. This simple change dramatically cuts down on the stress of strain on your ligaments and tendons. It makes band an incredibly safe way to train, letting you push your muscle to the limit without beating up your joints. There is a good reason why physical therapists everywhere use band for rehab. They are perfect for applying safe, progressive overload to help tissue heal and get stronger, improving your joint stability without risk of re-injury. For example, studies on patients with knee arthritis have shown that band exercises significantly cut down on pain and improve function. But this isn't just for rehab, it's for prehab. It's for bulletproofing your body against future injuries. By using bands, you strengthen the small stabilizing muscles around your joints that often get missed in traditional weight training. Plus, they also do wonders with your mobility. Using band for dynamic stretching help your muscles lengthen in a controlled way, which can unlock your hip and ankle for better form on big lifts and lower risk of injury all around. This brings us to the benefit that is a little bit more subtle, but can be a game changer for how you look and feel, boosting the mind-muscle connection. The mind-muscle connection is just a conscious, deliberate way of focusing on feeling the muscle contract while you exercise. It's a difference between just mindlessly moving the weight and actually commanding a muscle to work. Bodybuilders have sworn by this for decades, and science is finally catching up. Research now shows that focusing internally on squeezing the muscle can lead to much greater muscle growth. For instance, one study showed that a group focusing on the muscle saw almost a double compared to a group who just focused on getting the weight up. So how do bands help? They might be the single best tool for learning this skill. Because of that constant variable tension, you can't just cheat with the momentum. You can't just throw the band up. You are forced to control every inch of the rep. You have to squeeze against the building resistance on the way up, and you have to fight the band on the way down. This constant conversation between the band on your muscle forces the brain to pay attention. Think about the lateral raises for your shoulders. With a dumbbell, it's super easy to use a little hip swing to get the weight moving. With a band, that momentum is useless. The tension only kicks in as you deliberately fire up your deltoid, forcing you to start the movement with the right muscle and squeeze it all the way to the top. This builds powerful neural pathways that you can then take back to your dumbbell or barbell training for better movement activation and more growth. Plus, natural instability of bands force your entire core to light up and keep stable. Every press, every pull, every squat becomes a core exercise, building a core mix session without a single crunch. Alright, quick pause. If you are getting value out of this video and you are starting to see band in a whole new light, please do me a favor and hit that like button. That will not only help the channel grow, but it will also help other people out there to get some value out of this video. Thanks, I really appreciate it. Now let's put this into practice and move on. Theory is great. Now let's see this stuff into action. While you can copy any free weight with band, their magic is in the movements that are perfectly designed for them. Exercises that are awkward or just plain impossible to do with dumbbells. First up, the banded face pull. This is an all-star exercise for posture and shoulder health. With a cable machine, the tension is the same the whole way through. With a band, the tension peaks right at the end when your hands are with your head and your shoulder blades are squeezed together. This perfectly targets small muscles in your rear delt and upper back that are key for pulling your shoulder back and fixing that slouch shoulder posture. Next, the pull-off press. This is a pure anti-rotation core exercise. You anchor a band to your side, press it straight out from your chest, and fight the band's urge to twist your body. While you can do this with a cable, the band's changing resistance often feels more intuitive and lets you do it literally anywhere. Trying this with a dumbbell is useless, since gravity only pushes downward, not sideways. Finally, let's talk glutes, with movement like the banded glute kickback or clamshell abduction. If you use ankle weights, they are dead spot in the movement where tension in the glute muscles just vanishes. But with a band looped around your thighs and ankles, you get constant negative tension through the entire movement. It lets you isolate and burn out the gluteus medius and maximus in a way that's incredibly tough to do with anything else. This is why bands are a non-negotiable tool for anyone serious about building their glutes. So what's the takeaway here? For years, resistant bands have been unfairly shoved into a corner, labeled as a tool for beginners or for physical therapy only. But as we've seen, science tells us a different story. They are not a compromise. They are a powerful tool that give you at least 3 key benefits you can't just get from free weights alone. First, they offer a unique muscle building kick-through, linear variable resistance, hitting your muscle hardest when they are strongest and forcing them to stay engaged with 0 breaks. Second, they are incredibly joint-friendly, protecting you when you are most vulnerable while building stability and mobility, which means you can train harder for longer without pain. And third, they are one of the best ways to forge the mind-muscle connection, teaching you how to actually command your muscles to grow. Resistant bands don't belong in your closet. They belong in your gym bag. They belong in your workout routine. Stop thinking of them as a backup plan. Start using them as your way to grow muscles effectively. So now I want to hear from you. What's your experience been with resistant band? Do you have a favorite exercise that gives you a burn like nothing else? Drop in a comment below with your thoughts or any question you have. And of course, if you want more deep dive into the science of staying healthy and building muscles, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching. I am Ivan Trezor. See you on the next one. Don't forget, get your resistance band.